Yesterday, Future Press, who publishes game guides for From Software games, accidentally revealed a few balance changes and a few new parts coming to Armored Core 6 in patch 1.05. So let's talk about the new parts and the balance changes which might be coming to the game and how they would affect the current meta. This video is a little long, but you can find chapters in the description to skip around to what you care about. While editing this video, the PDF was taken down, so honestly this leak feels pretty valid. And you can find a download to the PDF in my Discord server. Now y'all have a great day. Hello everyone, so we actually have a patch 1.05 leak today, which is kind of insane. So a QR code was found for like a Future Press guide video, guidebook, whatever it is. Like this website right here. They specialize in like guidebooks for Souls and the other things like that. Like look right here, Armored Core 6 Pilots Fires of Rubicon is like a upcoming book of theirs, and this was found inside of the promotional stuff for that. It was like something about a QR code. I don't exactly know how we got our hands on it, but if this is a real leak and it's hella convincing, it's gonna have some really big changes. Not only are we getting new parts, we're also getting a lot of different changes to specific parts like Wheelchair and BUERZAL actually getting nerfed, which is huge for the meta. So we're gonna talk about that in a second. But first, we're getting to these new parts. I have Aphrodite here with me, who is a very smart person when it comes to Armored Core 6. They know for the most part what they're talking about. It's really, really cool. That was a bad introduction to you, but anyway, if you want to introduce yourself, you can, because I suck at it. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm just some random guy who hang out in Trekker's Discord.
Well, yeah, but you also like make spreadsheets and do a bunch of other stuff for the community. Like,
actually don't make spreadsheets. That's a researcher. And
oh, I see. Okay.
Who do most of it. Yeah, I kind of just use the information and make insights and like observations and some conclusions. That's all. I don't really do the data. I'm just more like the application guy.
Okay, well there you go. But I was talking to them earlier about the perceived patch, because again, not as confirmed. Don't know yet. Now we actually have some new parts here to look at. We have a new headpiece, a new core, new arms, and new legs. This is the lightweight tetrapod that we've all been waiting for. It is just straight up. It is a lightweight tetrapod, which is awesome. And the parts are kind of interesting. Go ahead and talk about the legs real quick, Aphrodite, because you mentioned some really cool stuff to me earlier.
Oh, yeah. The legs is a tetrapod, so it's specialized in floating. If you look into this description, it says the distinctive transforming front limbs of this model are built to improve aerodynamic performance. Part of the design dogma that focuses only on speed in the air. So if you never know, all the tetrapod legs have built-in hover speed maximum. For example, I think Verlex is like slightly slower below 300, and then the VP424 one has like 330 maximum. They have built-in hover speed. I believe, or at least I wish this one will go above 360. That would be amazing if that's actually true.
Now, I have something to say real quick. So the boost speed of a BVO build, which is like the standard like lightweight build that's seen in the meta today, is I believe it's only 373 is what it says right there. So if this goes about 360, then it will be about the same speed as BVO, which is kind of insane. That also stands for Basho Viento Ocellus, by the way. Basically a build that uses Vientos to build up Sager, and then melee weapon to punish. That's basically the idea of a BVO build. The legs are actually really exciting. You mentioned that the jump distance was like one of the lowest in the game, or if not the lowest in the game, correct?
It's the lowest.
Let me move my camera.
It's even lower than snail legs, which is the VE40 something. I forgot the number, but yeah, honestly, you get the idea. It's the lowest.
I don't remember either. I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna move my camera over here for now so y'all can see all the stats. But you can see that it's at 53, which this actually does matter. Because if you are on the ground and you do a quick boost, like let's say you put gills on this bad boy, which actually be really fun with hover mode, your quick boost is going to go basically nowhere if you're on the ground, which is very interesting. Now, the jump height is actually huge. Aphrodite mentioned that it was the second highest in the game behind Knockrider legs, so this means you're going to be able to jump up and then go into hover mode and stay in hover mode for a long time, which is really, really exciting. I cannot wait to use these legs. These legs look so freaking cool. And we've talked about a lot about a Water Strider build, which is the idea of a Water Strider build is to use like PO4 or gills or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 booster and stay in hover mode and just like boost around. I'll put some footage of that on screen real quick. Basically, the idea of it is to use bazookas to quick boost cancel while you're like hovering in midair. It's really, really cool. You actually can get up to some really high speeds with it as well. But this is going to be a game changer for that playstyle. Like, this is going to be the Water Strider playstyle. Like, these are going to be the Water Strider legs, 1000%. So, and then we have these arms right here, which are, like, not super fantastic. If you want to go ahead and talk about the stats here, Aphrodite, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. I don't think... So, the most notable part of this arm is, like, it's the lightest arm in the game right now. With Alba arms, which is around 9,800, this one is at 9,700. It's lighter than the lightest arm currently in the game. And Alba arms specialize in high firearm specialization. This one, on the other hand, specializes in recoil control, which is 134. It's the highest amount of the light arms, which is I'm pretty exciting with this arm because honestly, I think it might be good with the light arm weapons like the the handguns, or like maybe even the SMGs, like a close range poke play style, or with the recoil control that high. I think they might be significant.
Like a Stujian or maybe Viento. Like we've seen some play with double Viento, double Fasan on lightweights. Shout out to JC, who's actually been running that a decent amount. So double Viento, double Fasan with these. What's the EN load on these, by the way? Like comparatively to Alba.
I have to double check 1 second.
Okay, because like we were using Alba arms for that before, but like this with Viento's like PO5 FCS could actually be pretty dang good.
They are about the same.
Interesting. Okay, so actually that's not bad at all. These would just be better in slot then, right? For that kind of playstyle.
It will be straight up a improvement, I think.
That's awesome. That is so freaking cool. All right, so back to it.
Yep.
So far we talked about 2 parts, and they've already been like an improvement to 2 builds that might be meta in the future. And now we have a new core, a new lightweight core, mind you. So most lightweights actually use again, the BVO frame is this one right here. So, you know, dual Vientos, M1TO6, and the just your choice of melee, usually Slicer or Pulse Blade. And then we have, you know, 44D head, Alba chest, Basho arms, and Knock Rider legs. Now, what's interesting about this core is that it is better than Knock Rider when it comes to supply. You said supply efficiency or
supply adjustment is 1 higher. I don't think that's matter too much, but the big game changer here is the generator output.
That's what it is right there. Yeah, generator output adjustment, right? For the coral generators.
Yep. So higher output, I don't think personally think higher output is required for core generator, because core generator just has like a extremely high output already.
It was the supply adjustment I was thinking of. Sorry about that.
Oh yeah, no, that's no worries. Supply adjustment, both Knack Rider core and this one here, they both have very high supply adjustment. But I think the game changer here is the 117 output, which can make Sentai even better on a lightweight.
Now that's exciting because Sentai is actually the generator of choice for BVO, which again is a meta lightweight build. Like it does well in tournaments, which is really, really exciting because lightweights aren't super great in this game, despite what the YouTube comments say. They have very rarely won tournaments. Like, as in, I don't think there's been a single tournament where a lightweight has taken first place over a heavy biped besides, like, you know, early meta when people were using like full lightweight rats in tournament as like a rock paper scissors thing. But lightweights have done pretty badly in tournaments. Now that's what I'm talking about. This channel is all about tournament gameplay. So I know that like on your Xbox Fight Club that you do with your friends, lightweights are really strong. But when I'm talking about actual prize pool tournaments, lightweights don't do super great. So we're seeing parts that are basically just buffing lightweight builds across the board, because this might be better than Alba chest piece for those BVO builds, which is really exciting. All right, so keep going, Aphrodite. Sorry about that.
I think the issue with this core, is its booster efficiency is much lower compared to Alba or Knack Rider. So if you're like focusing on quick boost playstyle, like just quick boost around trying to dodge the enemy's FCS, then using this core may suffer from that playstyle. But like if your playstyle is more like kiting, doesn't quick boost a lot, then I feel like it will be better in general. Yeah,
going from 115 to 87 is very sad, I will say.
Yeah, it is a very significant drop in booster efficiency. So if you quick boost, this core will use a lot more energy. And also notice the AP for this core is extremely low. I think it's the second lowest, where the lowest one is Jailbreak.
I mean, you're losing only like 400 AP, which does actually matter, but it might not matter too much, because the issue with lightweights in this game is that they get staggered twice and they die. You get staggered once and you pop pulse armor, so you're alive. You get staggered twice, you're dead.
That's fair.
So I don't think the AP
Yeah,
matters
that's fair.
too much unless you're doing like unless you're ratting or something like that. Which like lightweight rat's dead at the moment because build lock exists. So if you can only bring one AC, then you're not gonna bring a lightweight rat or you're just gonna lose.
I think they will maybe. Sorry.
You go ahead. You go right ahead.
I think there may be potential builds with this core, combining with like heavy leg types that can make use of the heavy leg types AP and their attitude stability to compensate for the bad defense on this core, and while still getting a decent amount of defense with the legs. And I think the big thing here is like this core is essentially just HAL core, but half the weight. And of course, a significantly lower AP and defenses, but it's half the weight, so that might be able to help some builds or some other build creator trying to get below a certain weight threshold they want to achieve. This build would be the answer if they want to like not use HAL core because it's too heavy.
Now, I will say Wrecker Legs comes to mind there, because Wrecker Legs have a lot of EN load, but they're also really light comparatively to other heavy legs. It's like that. I feel like Wrecker Legs would be really good on that kind of build. Now, we've seen 3 parts right now that have some sort of competitive niche to them, and then we get to the new head, and good lord, this thing looks terrible. It looks like a slightly better version than the Ting Xiang. I believe I'm saying that right. Hopefully I am. God, I hope I am. I am so bad at saying that. So yeah, like this head is already terrible. It's like a meme head. It's really, really bad. And this is like a slightly better version of it. Like I don't think this really has a niche to it. Like what do you think, Aphrodite? What are your thoughts on it?
So first comes to mind is its EN low is significantly high. For a lightweight headpiece, it's very high EN load. Although the weight is low, like probably the lowest it can get now, but the low is so high, it's around the same load as a ephemera head, which is like one of the meta headpiece in the game, and that's very, I think that's very bad for this one, and it doesn't have good defense, bad AP, scan distance are like very trash. Attitude stability is only like 55 better than the Ten Chang head. The only notable thing here is system recovery, which is 121. But does it even matter at this point?
If we sort by
every other stat is so bad.
If we sort by system recovery, which is the stat that takes into account how many shots it will take from like a stun gun, or how long it will take for Bad Cook to like burn you, stuff like that. So like getting shocked or burned or something like that. We look at the system recovery for the Hammerhead, which is the highest in the game. It's 154. But if we look at Casuar, which is like the meta, like not a meta lightweight head, because heads don't really, like, you don't really sacrifice weight for heads. You just choose like VP44D, Ephemera, Varel, those kind of heads. You can't really have like 4 heads to choose from in the game, like Mind Beta, Ephemera, VP44D, and Varel. It's kind of like your 4 options when making a build for tournaments and stuff like that. Casuar head is only like 1,000 weight more, actually 1,500 weight more. And you get a ton more attitude stability, almost double your attitude stability, and you get 8 more system recovery. So if you're going to go for a lightweight head that is really good at system recovery, why not just go for Casuar? It's like, it just kind of blows me away. Like I think this has no competitive niche. Now I could be wrong. Hopefully I am, but I don't see this being useful at all. Now we get into new guns, which is really excited. There are 4 new weapons in the patch. If this leak is real, again, if this leak is real, 4 new weapons, 4 new frame parts. And it's stuff that we've actually been wanting for a while. So let's go ahead and talk about the Attache, the WR0555 Attache, which is a heavy machine gun. I pass it on to you, Aphrodite.
Oh, yeah. So this machine gun here, I think how should I put it? The biggest thing that pops in my eyes is the rapid fire rate is so slow. It's only 5. Ludlow is 10. So Ludlow fires that speed. Now you imagine that speed and half it. That's 5. This is a very slow machine gun. Its damage is around 1.5 times, which is 50% more than Ludlow, but its speed is half. I think its emphasis is a sustain, so like long-term fighting kind of style, close range, long-term fighting. Just looking at the stat, I don't think this will be a good weapon. Its reload time is also pretty significant, which is 2.1 second. Yeah, I don't think it will be a good weapon, but it looks really cool though.
What interests me about this weapon is that we impact is a big deal in this game. Like your maintaining your stagger bar or your ACS impact, something like that, is really, really important. Like getting your stagger up and things like that. So if I'm chasing somebody with this thing's 272 effective range, if I'm chasing someone down, I could make sure their impact does not get reset through the attitude recovery. Which means, and like this thing shooting so slowly, but you know, having such a long range, like I feel like that could be pretty useful. Because like if we look at Scudder and Turner, look at their effective range, isn't it like a lot smaller? Or am I wrong about that? Oh, no, it's 296. No, I'm wrong. Never mind. I'm stupid. I'm just incorrect. Like, never mind. The effective range is not anything to write home about. I thought it was a lot smaller than that. I guess because Ricochet's a mechanic, huh? That's why my brain goes to that.
Ricochet, yeah, Ricochet. So because of Ricochet mechanic in the game, if you're fighting a high defense AC, anything beyond ideal range, the higher their defense, the less important that effective range is. I think it just shrinks the effective range. Basically, what that's gonna do. Higher defense, the ricochet range will decrease.
Mm-hmm. That's why I was like, that's why I thought this was a pretty big number, because I'm just used to Curtis and not Curtis the Turner and Scudder just being like close quarters combat weapons because of how low the damage is, and this is also lower attack power than Turner or Harris, which is a kind of, or Turner and Scudder, which is unfortunate. Like it's actually had less than half Scudder damage, which is like kind of sad. I kind of agree with you. I don't think this can be very good, but you never know. It might be pretty strong. Hopefully,
yeah, its weight is pretty high too. Like, and its EM low it's pretty significant.
Yeah,
it needs a lot of resource, and somehow it doesn't perform what the resource spend.
Yeah, it seems very weird. Now we get to I'm gonna move over to you have something to say about this one's name, correct? So this is a back Gatling cannon. So we've been wanting it for a very long time. You know, we have Huxley's, but we don't really have, like, you know, shoulder-mounted Gatling cannons, which we've had in previous Armored Core games. And I believe this one's name has some sort of significance to talk to the validity of this leak, correct, Aphrodite? You did some looking into it?
I personally think so, because I looked into the naming of all the Dafeng parts. The Dafeng parts, they all named after a certain kind of astrology of the ancient China. And this one right here, Xiao Wei, is part of a group of namings of a certain astrology thing. It's part of it, which is why I think if this is a fake one, they sure spent a lot of effort trying to coming up with the names for these Chinese parts.
Yeah, definitely. So I also want to come to mind, this is a right arm unit. I believe that is just a misprint with this document. Is that correct? Like
if you look onto the other ones, I think they are all right arm units. Like,
yeah, it says all of them are right arm unit, which is weird because like
I think they just copy and paste.
Because like LCB, like we already have an LCA, and that's a like, you know, a shoulder mounted weapon. So unless this is a completely new, and like look at this thing's design, like the LCB, like that does not. There's no way, right? Like that's definitely a part that you can attach to your AC's back, correct?
Yeah.
It just seems weird. But anyway, let's talk about how good this thing might be in the future. Which honestly, this video is getting long already. It's going to be like 40 minutes long, but honestly, I don't care. We just have a lot of relevant information up front, and then I'm just going to talk about this because I want to talk about these weapons. This looks really fucking cool, and I'm really excited. Okay, leave me alone. So, the Xiao Wei is a light Gatling cannon on the shoulder, which is really exciting because again, we need something like that. We already have Huxley, but this will be like something that you can fire. I assume something that you can just fire by pressing the button, which is super duper cool. Because the issue with Huxley is that you would just get kicked. And if you get kicked while Huxleys are out deployed, they'll go back into their cold container unit, which is a big deal because kicking is so strong right now. So the Huxleys were kind of useless before. You didn't really see them in competitive play very much at all. So go ahead, talk about this, the Xiao Wei, Aphrodite. I'm going to leave the floor to you.
Yeah. So it's a Gatling, so comparing the stats to the other, its counterpart, which is its arm unit, the Hubin Gatlings. If you look at their numbers, they're actually pretty similar. The attack power is very similar. The rapid fire, it's the back cannon one is slightly slower. But I don't think it will be too much an issue. I think the bigger thing is that its attack heat buildup, it's 39. It's a very big number for how fast it fires. Compare this number to Gatling's. I think Gatling's, the normal one, the ARM one, is only 9, right? Is it?
Let me check. I will check right now because I already have the game pulled up and everything. You're talking about the heat buildup? Yeah, it's only 9.
Yeah, it's 9. So 9 compared to 39, it's a very, very high buildup. So and it's like a rapid fire.
This is like a burst impact kind of weapon. Like I want my impact,
exactly,
which is fantastic because that means that you can. So it hurts the weapon, it also helps the weapon. So let's say that you are playing a dual melee build. Dual melee does not do super great in this meta right now because shields are so prevalent. Because you put all of your damage into one big attack, like with your charged pulse blade or oscillate or whatever, and then the opponent just parries it. So what you could do is you could go in for a charged pulse blade, and then you could start shooting your Gatling either like after you land it or before, so that they're already trying to parry the Gatling because it's like, okay, the Gatling only lasts for a certain amount of time, so let's parry it, and then you go in with a charged pulse blade, and then you go for another Gatling because your Gatling cannon's already cooled down a decent amount. It's like you just keep going and going and going. Like they can't parry everything is kind of the idea here. So that's pretty interesting. Yes. I'm excited for that kind of play.
Something that really noticed is the cooling. This one is 3 times higher than the ARM unit. So I'm pretty sure they kind of just designed this weapon like a kinetic version of the bubble gun. So it's like burst fire. They just burst fire and then slow it down. Burst fire, slow down.
That's exciting as all fuck. That's super exciting.
I think this is the intended way of this is how it's played, because high cooling, high heat buildup, it's gonna be played like a burst.
Oh my god, could you imagine like okay, so there's like a lightweight build, right? It's lightweight with like a hand melee weapon or something like that for Stagger Punish, and it goes in and it hits you with like a not Ludlow, but it would be some sort of like, you know what, actually Q-bend double Gatling on the back. You just do like 1 billion impact per second, and then you just go in for a melee.
Yeah,
dude, I'm super excited.
That sounds amazing.
That sounds so fun. Now, another thing that's interesting about this weapon, and I know we're drilling this weapon a lot, but it's my video. I can make it as long as I want. I don't care. If you want to skip around different chapters, go ahead. Now, does this weapon get the assault boost impact buff?
Yep.
That's what your theory is? Yes.
It's set over there. Assault boost impact.
Oh, it does.
Bonus.
Yeah, right there.
Yes.
Oh my god, that's insane. I didn't even notice that. That's insane.
Yep.
Dude, could you imagine how fucking insane this thing would be? Like, okay, Kikaku booster. So you have the really slow assault boost, right? With really good like assault boost and efficiency. You have double Hubin, double Xiao Wei, and you just like assault boost slowly and just have that assault boost buff the entire time. That's gonna be an insane thing to fight against.
Yeah, I feel like you might want a PL4 or P10 for that particular playstyle.
I'm excited. I'm super excited about this one. This one might be a threat. Like, no joke, this one might be really, really good. Like, I can see myself using the hell out of that. And then, speaking of really good, hey, you know how, like, the MLT hand missile is, like, super duper good right now? It's, like, on, like, a majority of builds. Like, it got third place in the, what am I thinking of? Did it also get first place? Did Disco use this? I think both TQ and Disco used this in the $1,000 tournament and got first and third respectively.
So C Knight, which is probably the player who used the handheld missile, like a lot, very frequently in many tournaments. He's the first one that I come to mind. And then otherwise it would be Disco, which is the rat main, who of course is going to reuse a handheld missile. And Tiku, which is to my surprise, wasn't expecting that kind of build with a missile launcher, honestly. Yeah,
so hand missiles have been really, really good in the meta of Armored Core 6. And they just added a pulse missile launcher, or they might. Again, leak, not confirmed information. This all could be fake. Now, we'll say these screenshots look hella convincing, but it could all be fake. Keep that in mind. I want you to keep it back in your head. This might not be real. This might not be real. Don't get super excited and then the patch comes and none of this is real. Just keep that in mind, okay? Keep that in mind. Now, you know, like also VPMs have been super important. What if they had a child? What if VPMs and MLT missile launcher, like hand missile launcher, had a child, that would be this weapon right here, the PFAU-66D, which is a handheld pulse missile launcher. That's insane, right? Like, this thing might be really, really good.
Yeah, so looking at the numbers right now, 178. So it has apparently, according to its description, has two different modes. There's a mode where it's the Encharge, there's a mode, there's the Charge. I feel like that might be similar to how drones are played. So one might have higher damage and impact, the other one's like slightly worse and probably more frequently. I have no idea how this thing will actually be in the game. But looking over the numbers right now, the Charge attack power looks extremely good.
Hey, one question for you. This one says assault boost impact bonus. Do hand missiles usually get the assault boost impact bonus?
So I don't know about that. For this one.
that seems weird, right? It seems very weird.
It seems
right?
very weird. It might be a typo or might not be. As far as I know, all the explosion type of ammo or like any kind of projectile that explodes doesn't get the assault boost impact bonus, and it seems like they also have a blast radius, so I feel like they might not be affected. But I don't know right now because we can't really tell right at this moment without the patch actually in the game.
That might be a thing with, like, you know, them all being right arm units. That might be a thing that they just copied over and fucked up. Because this book is supposed to come out in the on the 20th, right? That's the launch date for this book. So I assume this is an early draft, especially since they accidentally, you know, let it through the promotional material. Then we also have the LCB, which again, this missile launcher might be insane. Like, I'm very excited to see this. Like, every build that like a hand missile launcher would be good on, especially like Basho arms, like for melee and stuff like that, this will be good. So the LCB is something that I'm kind of afraid of because LCAs are like, they're not very good, but they're very scary. Like, they can just delete you. The charged LCAs are absolutely ridiculous. And, like, leaving a damage trail in their wake seems very, like, insane as well. Like, what does a damage trail mean? Is it gonna, like, leave behind some sort of residue that if I touch it, I get hurt? Like, that seems insane. So, if you want to talk about the LCB, go ahead, Aphrodite.
Yeah, so I feel like this will be the in-between version of the LCS and the LCA. This is kind of like the buffed up LCS and also the downgraded LCA in some way. Its EN low is pretty, honestly, I don't think the EN low is pretty high. It's actually lower than Fasan, which is very interesting. The weight is very significant. It's pretty high weight, but for the power that it provides, I think that's fair. It's 1200 attack power uncharged. And notice how the attack heat buildup is 320. That's the same as LCS. So you can fire this thing 4 times before it overheats.
That's so dumb. Oh no. Our alarms is coming back. Is that what's going to happen? Double LRB, double LCB? Maybe that becomes a build style?
Yeah, so the rapid fire rate is 0.5, so it means every 2 seconds you can fire this once. And now think about it, what gun that can ever fire once every 2 seconds? It's Zimmerman. So you can actually just fire 2 Zimmerman with this together, and kind of like a cycle.
This seems so broken, I'll be honest with you. That seems so insane. Alright, well that's gonna be fun to fight against. Anything else you want to talk about this? It says an interrupt assault boost, so that's fun. I assume that means because, like, while you're assault boosting and not assume it's the opponent's assault boost. Because that'd be insane.
Yeah, I think this is, it means this is a stance weapon, so it will interrupt your assault boost.
Okay, good to know. Alright, so let's go on to the actual changes to in the patch. This also has 1.04.1 changes, which is weird. That's why you're seeing like the like leg types and stuff like that. They didn't buff reverse joints again. Sorry guys. Hopefully they do it in the future. But first we have something that actually changes the entire game. Like this changes everything. So BUERZAL is the most meta-defining part, just like of any part in AC, in AC6. Not in all the Armored Core games. I don't know that for a fact, but BUERZAL has been a staple on every single competitively viable build besides like one, and that's BVO. So BUERZAL getting nerfed, going from 10k assault boost thrust to 9,301 is huge, because if we look at Alula, which is the second highest assault boost speed, in the game. It's 9,085, which means that you're about maybe like 200 something difference now instead of, you know, 1,000. So this could actually be insane. Like, this could change the entire game. This could take our meta away from heavyweights and back towards midweights and lightweights, which is kind of crazy. This could do that. And I don't know like what system changes we're getting or anything like that. This is only numbers that we're getting from this leak. What's insane to me is that we crunched some numbers, and if your build is like 30k more weight than a BVO build, which is about 60k weight, so if your build's like 90k weight, you'll get about like, what is it, like 490 speed on BUERZAL, something like that. So you'll be.
I think that's around the number, yeah.
Yeah. So,
if it's 1,000 AP thrust.
So you're about
around 10,000.
You're about like 490 speed, and then a BVO build, while it's a self-boosting, again, this is 60k weight, is at 512. So you're like barely slower than them. Where you're 30k more weight to put on more defenses, put on more heavier weapons, stuff like that. You're like, you know, 20 less speed. It's ridiculous. Now with this change, you're like what, 440 speed at a 90k weight with BUERZAL? You should be.
You
like,
mean the current one?
This BUERZAL right here. If you have 90k weight, you'll be at like what, 440 speed, something like that.
Yeah, I will believe with the new 9300 one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be around the number. If that's the case.
Which means BVO is about 70 points faster than you, which means lightweights are finally faster than heavyweights instead of being like comparable, which is kind of insane. Like that's kind of insane, right? This also means that like a lightweight rat, which I know people complain about constantly, even though it's not very good in actual tournaments, is going to be a lot worse, because now if you're on your Alula lightweight or on your Alula midweight or your NGI midweight, whatever the heck you're playing, you're going to be able to catch them a lot easier, which is a perfect thing to change. Like, I love this change. This change will completely change the meta, like completely. Not to mention the quick boost EN consumption's also going up, which, like, if quick boost becomes more powerful because Alula's going to be more used more often, it's going to have worse quick boost, which is fantastic. Like, this is such a good change for the health of the game. It's insane. And if this is real, and it seems very plausible that this is real, because again, look at this screenshot. Like, I don't know how you would even Photoshop this screenshot right here. How would you screenshot? How would you even fake this? Like, look at this frame. You can't do that. Look at these weapons on the shoulder. Like, there is no way this is photoshopped. I mean, there can be, of course, because people are insane, like wizards and stuff like that. But like, look at this. Like this is such high quality. This is such high effort. If this is a leak that someone made just to get like publicity or whatever, hats off to them, because that's insane. But yeah, BUERZAL nerf is huge. We can talk about FORTALEZA and how it got another AP nerf, which is hilarious because that thing is still broken as all hell. And even with this nerf, I still think it's going to be insanely good. Like, that's 1,000 more AP off, but I still think it's going to be really, really used. I used a lot. I
actually want to add. Go ahead. Sorry, I actually want to add a little bit more to the BUERZAL.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, the quick boost EN consumption is increased. I think it's not only gonna just affect your quick boost, it will also affect your side strafe. So if you're gonna side strafe in the assault boost, you're gonna use a lot more EN compared to before.
Which is really important, because a very good tech in this game is moving your camera to the right and assault boosting and going left, so that you can jerk your AC over even faster. Like, that is so important. That is so important to BUERZAL. It is kind of insane. Like, dude, if this nerf is real, this game is going to be completely different, like night and day different. I am super duper excited. Like, we might have, you know how like heavyweight, dual zim, PS, and like VPM or laser drone has like been a thing over in Japan. 432, the best player in the world, uses it over in Japan, and Risa, who's like one of our better players over in the West, uses it like that. They might have to swap to midweight, which is crazy to me. Like, you are nerfing the absolute hell out of Assault Boost Zimmerman with just this change alone, because now they have to get faster, and how you get faster is you shed weight. It is insane to me. It is insane to me, this change. Like, I want it to be real so bad. Like, my hopium and copium are off the charts. Like, I'm at max capacity right now of hopium and copium. It is insane. Yeah, so anyway, FORTALEZA nerf, I think this is just an AP and assault boost change. Not really a ton to talk about. I still think it's going to get played because wheelchair is insane. It's the thrust that really matters here, because the wheelchair, like, you can put as many weight on as possible and you'll be fine. Like wheelchair is just such a what am I saying here? What is the word that means like you can use it in any situation?
Versatile?
There it is. Thank you, Aphrodite. It's such a versatile tool. Like you can use it on basically any build. Like the reason why I haven't really run like BUERZAL banned tournaments because then everyone's just gonna fucking run wheelchair. Because wheelchair is just so gosh darn good. Like it is something that can really hold a candle to BUERZAL like heavy biped. Now with BUERZAL being nerfed and wheelchair being nerfed, I don't know what's gonna be meta. I still think wheelchair is gonna be used a lot because it's gonna be really really fast for like heavyweight builds. But good lord, dude, it's so freaking cool. It's so freaking cool. Anything you want to add with the FORTALEZA nerf?
Yeah, so its nerf is the assault boost consumption with the assault thrust. I think they're just what they're trying to do is to block out any indirect use of their assault boost using other leg types, so they don't have to use BUERZAL, which is I think is the whole point. They nerf assault boost here as well. The AP nerf is very significant. It's 1,000, which I think generally the fat wheelchair ACs we see in the games are roughly 12,000 AP, which will be 1,000 less. But I still think this will be a pretty strong leg type, mainly because its travel speed on the ground just way too fast. For an 80k weight wheelchair build, it will be roughly around 370 to 380 ground boost, which again is very hard.
Which again, if you look at BVO, which is the fastest viable build in the game, 373. So
yeah, they will have to use assault boost to catch up to a wheelchair.
Which is, that's kind of annoying, right? Like that's kind of insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what annoying. That's if you're ever wondering why you deal with so many wheelchair builds, especially if you play a lot on Watchpoint Delta, which again, as I've said many times, bad map. That's why you don't have it in tournaments, because wheelchair gets buffed the absolute fuck on that map. So stop playing Watchpoint Delta. That's why you're seeing so many wheelchairs. That's why you hate this part so much. Play Upper Grid or Xylem or something. Xylem's still good for wheelchair, but like they actually have to use their brain instead of just moving away from you and moving towards you. So all these Spring Chicken and Mind Beta and Kazuar and Mind Alpha, all this stuff has been old news. This is 1.0 4.1 stuff, and again that actually does add more validity to this leak, because if I was going to make a guide for the game and I was going to have an update section, I'm not going to list off 1.04, 1.0 4.1, 1.05. I'm just going to go 1.01, 1.02, 1.03, 1.04, 1.05. It makes sense. This is the updates that happen with 1.04 to 1.05. You're just gonna lump that in there. It makes sense. So a lot of this stuff is old news, but we can talk about a few things. Like I believe the Ludlow actually got a change, correct? More ideal range and more effective range. You were talking about earlier, Aphrodite, that this ideal range is very close to Ocellus range. Like 130 is Ocellus range, and which is by the highest close range FCS in the game. So 127, pretty close to that, which is quite nice. So Ludlow.
Yeah, I think this is an amazing change overall, because the moment you enter close range, if you ever observe your FCS, like how the red reticle changes, the moment you enter the optimal range, your red reticle would just snap onto your target, especially if they're oscillous. So if its ideal range changed 127, just matches your FCS, the moment they enter a close range, you can just fire them. It's amazing
awesome.
change.
Wrecker Arm Ludlow new meta, hello, is here finally. Wrecker Arm Ludlow.
I don't think you need Wrecker Arm to use Ludlow. Probably roughly 140.
Yo, hey, you can use the new arms, the new ones. You can use these.
Oh yeah, you can use the new arms.
Yo, new BVO, but it's Ludlow with those arms.
I don't know about that, but we'll see. We'll see.
And then we have Turner and Scudder. I'm gonna do these together because these are basically they both kind of got the same number of changes. The cumulative impact is now a lot higher, about 3 higher on the Turner and 4 on the Scudder, which is quite nice. It's the ideal range and the effective range, which is really huge here, because the you want to go ahead and explain how Ricochet works in this game, Aphrodite, because you know better than I do.
So I believe that so as long as you shoot within the ideal range, your pellets will not get ricocheted. But anything beyond ideal range, as the enemy's defenses increases, the ricochet ranges will start slowly decrease from the maximum effective range all the way down to ideal range, depending on how much the enemy defense is. So the higher the ideal range, it means the higher the range that your bullets will start ricocheting, I think.
It's honestly, I'd love for this guy. I think the moment the Scudder is good, the Scudder and Turner are good, is the moment we have a very healthy meta. You think so? You think so, Aphrodite? I think the moment that these are good guns, I think the game is in a good spot. Unless
I would want to.
Unless they're like really good, as in like they double the damage or like they double the impact or something, then that's like, ugh. Like unless they get like a huge buff to the point where they're absurd.
Yeah, I think even with this buff right here, I don't think they will be not even close to being a meta. I think they will even like. So as far as I know, I feel like Therapist is just better than all these.
That's so mean, Aphrodite. Come on, that's fucked up. You can't say that. That's mean.
I've been playing Therapist a lot recently, so I'm like, yeah, that doesn't feel good, man.
Therapist actually is okay. I'll be real. Therapist ain't that bad. Therapist ain't that bad.
Yeah, it's not bad
anymore.
Not bad.
You can't hate on Therapist anymore because it is not that bad. Now Cheng Chen got a similar buff, ideal range, effective range. Cheng Chen's not really super fantastic in the first place. I don't think this is really gonna make anything, gonna change anything about that, but it is nice. It's very nice. This is basically a nerf to Ricochet, is what this is, if you want to think about it like that. Rensetsu AR got the similar buff. Cumulative impact actually getting way higher, which is nice, because good lord, Rensetsu AR, I think, is the worst gun in the game. It is quite bad. So, this buff, it's actually pretty significant. I mean, 8 times 3, that's a nice, like, 24 more impact per shot. Pretty nice. Not gonna lie. Effective range also got buffed, and ideal range also got buffed as well, so there you go. Pretty nice. Now, Stugin also got the same thing. A lot of these seem to be, just nerfs to Ricochet, stuff like that. Therapist is the old patch 1.04.1 buff, same with the bomb launcher. Now, the LRA, Aphrodite, take it away, because, oh my god, they gutted this thing. Again, if this patch is real, they gutted this thing. Good lord.
So yeah, it's so the biggest thing we need to look at here is the I personally think the attack buildup is the worst thing here, on top of the worst cooling as well. 180 means you can shoot 6 uncharged shot. Now you can only do it 5, which is pretty bad. You get one less charge, one less shot out of the uncharged. And then, of course, you look at the charge time, it's just a 1 second increase. That's insane. The cooling is also pretty significantly reduced. I think overall, the LIH is a worse weapon now compared to, I don't know, I feel like at this point, why not just use LR?
Yeah, I feel like this is, I mean, I'll be honest with you, Aphrodite. The reason why you didn't use LR is because LRA was just better by far. So now you have an actual reason to choose LR or LRA, which is kind of nice, I'll be honest with you, because LR is a really cool looking weapon. I would like to see more play. I'd rather that get buffed than LRA get nerfed, because the only tournament that LRA has been really good in, besides the $1,000 tournament, which it got like 2 top 16 placements in, which is not bad. That's not bad performance of the gun. But the only tournament that LRA has ever actually won was Belial's tournament, which Belial ran a like really weird rule set with like Gridwalker and BUERZAL were nerfed, and like a bunch of other, like there was a weight limit. It was a bunch of like restrictions on builds, and even then it like barely won. Like it was done in like a double LRA wheelchair with like Fasan or something and a PS. It was like a very wacky. I think it was actually LRA Majestic Fasan PS piloted by Hawami, one of the best Japanese players. Like it was just LRA is not super great. I don't know why they gutted this thing. Again, this also like helps with the patch's validity, because it's just a weird ass change, and honestly, it's believable that FromSoft would do something like that. So, and then Wooger is an old one. J-Mom Launcher is an old one. Plasma Rifle, I think, is an old one, or is it a new one? I'm not sure.
I think this is a new one. Let me double check in game right now.
Yeah, attack heat build up 300 to 245, which is actually, if that's real, that's actually pretty sizable. You can shoot this thing a lot more often.
Yeah, it's a new one.
All right, so you can shoot this thing a lot more often. The PR has never been very good, so I can't really say much about it. Laser Blade, sadly, an old one, which makes me upset, because I would love more Laser Blade. Y'all, if y'all ever come by the Twitch stream, y'all know that I absolutely love Laser Blade. So man, I hope it gets more love in this next patch, because we're not seeing hitbox changes, we're not seeing like stuff like proximity explosions, anything like that. We're just seeing you know, numbers. So Karasawa getting more ammo stuff. That's an old thing. Waveblade also an old. Moonlight's also an old thing. I'm pretty dang sure. And then we have Morley, which is an old thing. I believe the split boats launchers are an old thing as well, or is this a new thing?
I think all these changes to the missiles, like from here and onward, they, except for the PMs, the plasma missiles, they are changing the guidance, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So they're making them better, because I don't think split missile is currently good in the game.
It's
like
not very good at all.
They're not used very much. So the number you see right here, max lock count to increase to 145, that makes 0 sense. But I believe they just put the numbers in the wrong place. They're probably trying to say they're increasing the guidance.
I will say, if it goes from being able to hit 2 enemies to 145 enemies, that's a pretty good buff for PvE.
But I don't think that's real. But anyway, it's probably a buff to the guidance, which changes from 135 to 145. It's not a very significant buff, but it's something.
Now, so we have all right, so yeah, so this is all guidance stuff, which is very interesting actually. I do want to see split missiles get more play, because like honestly, they just miss so much that doesn't really matter. Now, I will say, talking about the guidance numbers, so the Turner nerf that happened in 1.3.1, I believe, where like everything changes, like we had the speed change and everything like that. The Turner went from, I believe, 120 tracking to 110 tracking, so that was a 10-point difference. And Turners feel way better to fight against now and way worse to use now because of that tracking difference.
Do you mean apparative?
No, what are we thinking of? Not, did I say Turner?
Turner's the rifle.
Tranos is what I was saying. Tranos is what I'm talking about. You know, Tranos went from 120 to 110. This is going from I believe it was 135 to 145 on the Espila AO8. So, like, that's kind of insane. That's a 15-point difference. That's going to be a lot better for its guidance. So that's going to be very interesting. Now, VPMs are actually getting a guidance nerf, I believe you said, right?
Yeah, I think it's going from 180 to 155, which I think it's a very reasonable nerf. As how many VPMs we have been seeing in the tournament.
Again, these numbers are wacky. I think this is a misprint. This is obviously an early draft of this chapter. So, but yeah, so VPMs going from 180 to 155. This is the most used missile in the game. This is the most reliable missile in the game. That's why everyone uses it. It is the best at keeping up your accumulative stagger. So, onto your opponent. So this is actually pretty dang important. It's actually pretty dang cool. And it's going to be a pretty dang big deal. So, that's actually huge. That's actually a freaking huge deal. If this patch is real, VPMs might see a lot less play, which can change, again, the entire metagame. Because VPMs are super duper useful, and it's slapped on. Basically, if you don't know what to have on your shoulder, slap on a VPM in the current meta. So if this video goes out and you're new to PvP and you know the patch is like 2 weeks away, just slap on a VPM. That is what everyone does. It is super duper strong, super duper reliable. It is the filler shoulder slot.
It's I won't miss, but in real, but it's real.
Especially if they're born Meza. If they're born Meza, like I think Taka's the only player in the world that can dodge that onboard Meza legs.
I don't know, but like maybe.
No, I've seen Taka do it. It's insane. They like jerk their entire AC just to get around VPMs. Yeah. It's crazy. But yeah, so these are also old. The Corvus launcher is strange. It goes from like I don't think the 165 is the charge EN load. I assume that's also the guidance. Which if that's the guidance, that's 110 to 165. That's terrifying. So if that's the case, then that would be insane. If that's the case, this thing might actually see some use because right now it's just completely useless. Like this thing was all right before the This one won the week 1 tournament piloted by Bulls, but that was like before a bunch of different changes. That was like week 1 of the game coming out. It didn't really see any play after the first nerf, and then got nerfed again, so now it's just complete garbage. But if it's at 165 guidance, this thing might be crazy.
It might be very good. Yeah,
so to keep an eye out for the Coral Missile Launcher, this might be insane if this patch is real. Now, the Coral Shield, this thing got freaking gutted. I want to zoom in real quick on this. So, it looks like so... I thought that was one from 88 to 88. This goes from 88 instant guard damage negation to 68. And instant guard dampening goes from 77 to 57. Impact dampening goes from 50 to 42. This thing got gutted. If this patch is real, these things got gutted. Like, Coral Shield might just not even be good anymore. Like, this is insane. Like, not being able to parry with it anymore, well, not being able to parry nearly as well anymore. And also, like, just taking more, like 8% more impact while you have it up. Like, this thing might be terrible. Like, I'll be real.
Oh yeah, the instant guard just basically get gutted here. You're taking more damage, like 2.5 times more damage from the instant guard, and you're probably taking 2 times more impact as well from the parry.
Insane. Insane.
It's basically turning this shield into not a parry shield like instant guard shield, but they're trying to like make you use this shield as a holding shield, so you just hold it and shoot your weapon. I believe that's what their intention is.
But you're taking,
I'm seeing
like,
these numbers.
You're only taking half. You're only taking half of impact. And if you know how shields work in this game, the cumulative impact is increased on your guns, right? Whenever you're shooting an enemy. When you're shooting an enemy holding up a shield, your cumulative impact stays for longer, correct? Or like
I believe
it matters more.
Yeah, I heard something about it. I believe what happened is like your impact will never be changed into a cumulative impact. If
That's what it is. Yeah.
Shield.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So let's look at something like the Vientos, right? Like, let me show you something like the Vientos. So Coral Shield's been used on heavy bipeds a lot because the attitude ability is insane. You get like 2,164 attitude ability. You can even go higher than that, but that's like a super duper high number. If you look at Vientos, which are like the highest impact per second in the game, this is what lightweights use at the moment, by the way. 195 impact. I shoot your Coral Shield like what, 20 times and it breaks? With 2 of them? That's 4 mags. That's 4 mags of Viento. And it's gone. Like, that's insane to me. That's insane to me, dude. Like, that's... Coral Shield sucks. It's like that. That's hilarious, dude.
Yeah. So I do think the Coral Shield the nerf on the Coral Shield was kind of just... They are basically nerfing Disco's build, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's kind of insane. Like, they hit almost everything that Disco was using to win the $1,000 tournament, which, honestly, this is why I have no bans tournaments, by the way. This is why I have no bans tournaments. You were like, why don't you just ban BUERZAL? It's like, because then From Software doesn't know it's broken. It's like... if someone comes by and sees that tournament, who works for From Software, works with Namco, they see that, like, oh, you know, this thing's still winning, this thing's still winning, this thing's still winning, even after the nerfs. This is still the meta build. It's like, they know what to change. Like, nothing here that got changed besides, like, the LRA, which that did actually end up winning a tournament. Granted, I had, like, a weird rule set, but LRA did well in tournament. Everything here that got nerfed did well in tournaments. This is why you host tournaments.
I do believe LRAs are doing very successful in Japan, so I believe that's why they nerfed the LRA.
That might be it then, because I know Hawami was using it, and Hawami's a very good Japanese player. So that's the whole leak. Hopefully this is real, because honestly, if it is, then I'm super duper excited. Expect a lot more videos this December if this is real. I mean, hell, it's 11:32 p.m. We might even get it tonight. Like, honestly, like I am super excited about all this. This looks so gosh darn good for the health of the game and everything like that. Like, this is, especially that BUERZAL nerf, dude. If you nerf BUERZAL, the whole game changes, and I cannot stress this enough. You are nerfing a part that's on like 99% of meta builds. You are nerfing a part that everyone uses besides one build. That's insanity. That is insanity. God, I'm excited, Aphrodite.
Yeah, I'm doing the same, but I'm mostly excited for the new parts. Those looks really juicy.
Oh, everything with the head looks so juicy. I'm so excited. Don't take that out of context, chat. Anyway, this isn't live. I just said that because I'm streamer brain rot. Anyway, that's the patch leak. Hopefully this is real. If it's not, then I'm sorry, and sorry for getting your hopes up. But again, I said a lot in this video. This could not be real. I'm not going to tell you that this is a real thing that you should believe in, that you should be really excited about. We could get patch 1.05 and it's like 5 changes, and that's it, and no new parts or anything like that. Now, y'all have a wonderful day. Hopefully this is real. If not, then rip. Sorry. But hopefully you enjoyed what's turning into an hour-long... Welcome to Armored Cast. How you doing? It's like... right, after that, you got anything to plug? You got a
You might as well just turn
YouTuber?
this into an armor cast.
I mean, yeah, basically. Do you have anything to plug? Like, do you have a Twitter or YouTube or anything like that? I don't know if you have anything like that.
No, I'm not a content creator. I'm just some random.
No
dude
one
sitting
has it.
around
No
Square
one.
Enix
No
Discord.
one does content besides me. It's like me and Moby, and those are the two Armored Core content creators out there. It's like me and Moby Geeks Out. That's it. That's the only two. Only two that exist apparently. Anyway, thank you, Aphrodite, for chilling with me and talking over these parts. You're a lot smarter than me when it comes to actual part numbers and things like that. So thank you for helping me out. I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye. That was fun.